Hi, I'm Belinda Harrow. I'm an artist. I live on Treaty 4 land in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I've been living here for about 10 years. Right now we're in my studio, in my home. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge the land that I'm on, the people who were here before us, and my responsibility to work towards being part of taking care of the land, the plants, and the spaces that we share. I've always been artistic. I grew up in a small town in Saskatchewan, and I was that one person in my class of like 14 who had the ability to draw and paint things, reasonably realistically. I've always loved drawing animals, like since my childhood, and they've been consistently a theme and a subject that's come through in my work. People probably know me best as a painter, but I also work with sculpture, drawing. I studied at the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design and then continued my studies in New Zealand with a master's degree focusing on sculpture. I've had some really amazing opportunities because of my art practice over the years. It's led to a lot of travel. For me, I've done a number of residencies. I have been to India and taught art. I've been to China and taught art. So I think in that way, it's been a great influence for me. When I first moved back to Canada the last time from New Zealand, I went up to the Yukon and did a residency. And that was really exciting for me because of my interest in animals. I really wanted to get out on the land and experience animals firsthand. And I had been living in New Zealand for on and off about 9 years, so I was missing a lot of those North American animals. When I came back to Saskatchewan, I think living in the city, the animals are kind of more subtle. But if you get out into the parks at all, you start to notice that there's wildlife everywhere that's adapted. And so that's really influenced my work, I think, is like looking for the beauty, looking for nature while living in an urban space. I have a home studio right now, and the fact that I have a home is a new thing to me. For many years, I traveled and lived in places for short times and went to different countries, and I had all kinds of studios. But once I bought a house, and that sense of security it gave me was really important. And when I was looking for a home, I knew I wanted to have a space at home. And it just allows me really to make all the free time I have outside of my regular work hours available to me. I think over my adult years, my time spent on work, my employment, and my practice of sort of being in balance. Sometimes I focus more on the art, and sometimes I'm making decisions that are good for my career, that pay the bills. But because I work in the arts, I always have around that kind of creative people, around artists. The other thing about the studio that's been really important is that over the pandemic of the last 2 years, it's been a really precarious world. I've been working at home, and it's been really great to have this space to come to. But it's been a challenge. The pandemic has really sapped my creative energy. So I've upped the research, I've upped the time outside, and that's helped buoy up my energy in terms of keeping up with work and keeping up with the studio over this time. So it's been a challenge for sure, but I appreciate how lucky I am to have this safe space to work in at this difficult time. I have always made art. It's just part of who I am. So I think that will always be something that I do. Definitely the best part, the thing I like the most, is like coming up with the idea and seeing if I can make it happen and that it exists in front of me successfully and that I'm happy with the aesthetic and the way it looks. Like I'm an object maker. I make a painting or make a drawing or I make a sculpture, and those are the things that I'm really happy about, that I can create the thing, like the idea in my mind, and make it look the way I want it to look.